Our next author is Michael Grady, who has authored Making God Part of Your Family, the Family Bible Study Book. And this vibrant yet carefully researched volume will bring your family closer together and help you clearly establish your family's identity as children of God and brothers and sisters of Jesus. How are you doing today?
Good. Boy, she's held out well, don't you think? I'm the last one, so that will make everybody happy too, including you, right?
What is the important message you hope your book conveys?
I've written the book because I've been teaching 8 to 12-year-olds and adults for over 30 years.
Wow.
And teaching the Bible. And what I learned consistently is that while they said the Bible was important, nobody read it. And so when I asked them why they didn't read it, 3 things came out very consistently. Number one, they said, I can't understand it. The others, they said it's boring. And then they said the Old Testament was not relevant. And I wanted to change that philosophy and change that understanding. And so my purpose of the book was to make the Old Testament stories, retell them, and whether make them easier to understand, more engaging, and point out how relevant they are. As our rabbi friend just told us, people didn't change. People were jealous. Everything. People today are the same then. And I believe God has chosen these stories to teach us about how to live life. And so that would be my purpose.
Awesome. And what audience is this book intended for?
It's actually written on an adult level. Most people see it as, because particularly in my hometown that I've taught children, but I've taught adults, I wrote it on the adult level with the express purpose of having something for the family. My primary purpose is for the family, although adults can read it on their own. But if they read it on their own, that's my hook, is that an 8 to 12-year-old probably could not understand it by reading it himself. But if the parent reads it to him, then they're spending time together and he can explain it. I know an 8 to 12-year-old can understand it because I've taught them for 30 years. And they can understand a whole lot more than we think we can, but sometimes they need an explanation to it.
Yes.
So while I found some of my best audiences, my 20-something-year-olds, because they said, finally I get what the Old Testament is about. And even my mother-in-law at 80 said that finally I've been going to Sunday school all of my life and I didn't know this much about the Bible. So I say it's from 8 to 80.
Gotcha, 8 to 80. So what do you hope your readers take away from the book?
Actually understanding God's revelation and plans for them, and teach them as our daily lives, how we live our daily lives and how Jesus is part of that. I wrote each of the stories and it was about a 15-minute read. I did it with my granddaughter in the early stages. She was 9 to 11 when I was writing the book, and it would take us 30 to 45 minutes because she started asking questions, which was the purpose. I've made it conversational. I wrote it for the layman of the Laurel, and so that conversational, so it stimulates discussion. And then at the end of every chapter, I wrote new discussion questions to reinforce this. And then I also put all of the scripture lessons that I used in the New Testament to tie the Old and New Testament together.
Nice.
So it can be a Bible, it can be a 15-minute devotion, a 30, 45-minute study time with the family, or a real Bible study by looking up all the scriptures.
With good curiosity and conversation.
Absolutely.
Great. And for the viewers at home, how can they connect with you?
I have the books available on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles and lots of Christian bookstores, but I have a website, michaelgrady.org. They can borrow the book on that and learn more about it there too.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.